Hello, hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
doctor.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Assalamu alaikum. Very good afternoon, very good morning, everyone joining here. This is Dr. Hussein. Today we have a new topic for programming technique 2, which is class and object manipulation. So before I start, I'd like to remind you about the survey. We want to know if you can return back in the second half of this semester or not. So please, those did not key in now in the WhatsApp survey, please do it. All right? This is required by the office here. So we don't know. For those who cannot come later, we'll see what's going on. All right, now we need just to survey how much the percentage and what's the reason that you cannot come back. All right. Okay, guys. So today we are going to talk about class and object. So basically, here we have the first concept here, which is about friends of classes or friend functions. All right, so what do we mean by friends? So basically, the key idea of friend is a function or class. So we have two cases for the friend. We have a function. So sorry, just I need to change the layout. So now, for the case of the friend, maybe function as a friend or class. So we have two cases to be a friend, meaning that a class may be a friend of class or a function, standalone function, may be a friend of class. At the end of the day, we have a class. So that's not a member of class. So basically, you define inside your class a member, new member, but this is not a regular member. As we know, we have private and public, but now we have another keyword, which is friend of class but has access to private members. So that's the the reason that why we are using friend functions in order to give access to private members. So this is the main reason that we are using friends, to give access to your data. All right. So a friend function in the first case, this is the first one, and this is the second one here. In the first case, a friend function can be standalone, so we have a function, but this function is not a member of class. So in the first scenario, we have scenario A, or we have another case. This function is a member of a class, so this is scenario B, right? So the final point here is declared a friend with friend keyword. So you have to use friend keyword in order to declare a function or a class. You see here we have two cases, maybe a function, maybe the whole class. A function may be standalone function or function which is a member of another class. All right. Okay, so we have the first case here is a standalone function. So 1A, we can call it case 1, which is a function, A, which is standalone. So how to define a friend function, which is standalone function? This is the syntax. You have to use the keyword friend at the beginning. This is the prototype here. The rest is the normal prototype that you know. What's the return value here? What's the input here? And this is the name of your function. we just add a friend keyword at the beginning. Okay, so in the second case, this is second case, it's a function, but this function is a member of class. How to define it? You have to use the keyword friend at the beginning, so it is very similar to the first case. And here, this is the return type, which is similar to here. And here, this is the function name. This is the name of the function and the input. And here, this is the class that contains this function. So we have to use the class scope here. Clear? Okay, so it's very similar to the prototype. When you implement your function in the case of the class, plus you add here a keyword friend. Okay. Okay, so now we have one scenario, which is a class. The whole class will be a member, will be a friend for another class. So class as a friend of class is not a function. It's a class as a friend of class. So this is class A. If I call it, this is class A, right? So this is class B. This is class B here. This is, I don't know if you can see the color, but I'll make it outside. This is class A. So now what's the scenario now? Class A will be a friend of class B. So here I'm using a friend keyword. I'm using the keyword class, and this is the name of the class. This one should be A. Okay, so A here inside B. So B now will give authorization for class A, meaning that class A now can access all private members of class B, because class B give authorization for class A. Clear? It's not the opposite. Now class B will give authorization or authentication for class A, but class B cannot access the private member of class A. It's one direction. Clear this point before I move to the coding part in the editor? All right, so now we have three scenarios of friend functions, friend classes. Sorry. All right, here we have the coding part. We have example here. So I have a class here. This class, I will name it distance. Okay, so this is my class. Inside this class, I have two sections. The first one is a private, which is the default. Inside the private section, I have one variable, which is the meter. Then I have the public section here. So inside my public section, I have the constructor. Okay, so this will be my constructor. I can give the implementation here inline function, or just it is okay. This is my constructor, so I will initialize this value to be 0. So this one must be closed here. All right, so this is just a constructor. So now, assuming that I have another function is outside, standalone function outside this class, So this function will return integer type. I will call it add 5. Okay, this is the name of my function. This function will take an input of type distance class. So this is the implementation. So now what's the key idea? The key idea now from this function, standalone function, I need to change this private value. So now inside this, what I have to do, I will receive a reference of this object. I'll call it distance object or object as it is. So now using the reference of this object, I can change the distance. So this is meter plus equal 5. I'm adding 5. At the beginning is 0 meter, but once I call this function, it will be incremented to be 5. Clear this point right now? What I have a symbol class here. Distance, I have standalone function. I need to give access for this function to be able to modify the private section. This is the key idea here. So what I have to do here, I need to define an object. Sorry, this is distance class. This is my object here. Object A, object 1, whatever you can call it. Then I need to sorry. Okay, guys, sorry. So what I have to do now, I have just to print out the value of this object. So object 1, I need to print out the distance. So I'll call it distance here equal object 1 dot, sorry, I need to, the getter here, I need to define the getter. So this is get distance. Okay, guys, I'm very sorry. Today I'm sick. I have a sore throat, so maybe I cannot continue more. So now I'll try to finalize the friend classes. What I'm doing here is to define getter, get distance here. So this is the getter here. I need to return back. So what I need to return. Okay, so maybe I cannot explain more. I just will write up. I hope that you'll understand what's going on here. So Okay, guys, I'll try to finish this example just. So what's the key idea here? Object one, just I need to print out get distance function here. So it will return integer, the same type. Okay, so I just execute now without using friend function. This one I will use later. Okay, so now I need to execute here. What's wrong here? We have meter. Okay, so spelling error. All right, is private. Okay.
The semicolon in the meter equals 0.
Ah, yes. Sorry. Okay, I try to execute. This is private section. Meter. Okay, I need to deactivate this part. Okay, so can I see this function now? Okay, yes, this is right here. Okay, so it's 0, initial value 0. So now I need to update from this function. What I have to do, I have to make this function as a friend. So I'll take the prototype here. I'll make it inside the public section here. So I will add the keyword friend. Sorry. Okay, so this is the prototype of my function. All right, so now, okay, prototype. You have to add the friend keyword before the prototype. So after, so this is distance before. Okay. So I'll make copy after updating. So distance after. Okay, so it's here. I need to update here in between. So I will pass this object. All right, so this is my object will be passed to add 5. So I'm expecting to get 5 after updating. So this is execution here. Okay, where's the first line? Distance before, end line here. Distance after. All right, so I'll execute here. Okay, clear this idea. You can access with a friend. If you don't have this line, so you cannot access the private member. You see, this is private. You cannot access from outside, from standalone function, even if you are passing object here. Clear the idea of friend function in the case of standalone. Okay, any question? So I just passing here. This is the first case here. Standalone function here. So what I have to do, I have to give the friend keyword before the prototype. This simple prototype here. So what's going on here? This is my function. I just add friend in front. Okay. So now the second case, I'll try to finish this part. If this function is a member of class, meaning that this function will be included in another class. I have to create another class. So I'll call this class add distance. Okay, so this is my new class here. Opening, closing. All right, so I have to no private section, only the public section here. So no need to define the constructor. I will get the default constructor. I need to add this function here. So this function is belong to this class. So the return type is here. So this is the prototype of my function here. So now what I have to do, I have to change this one to be how it will be. I wanna here to give permission for this add5 function, but now add5 function is a member of this class. So what I have to do, I have to use the scope of the class like this. Okay, so you can see the change here in the slides. You can see this is our scope here, the class name before the function name. So this is this function, meaning that will come from this class. So in case you have another function, you will not give access, only for this you are selecting. Okay, so now okay, so what you need to add, because now you are mentioned here the class at distance, it's unknown right now. So you need to define this class here. You have to forward calling. So you have to mention for the compiler that I have a class that will come later named at a distance, because you are using here. Okay, so what else you need to change here? It's the same prototype. You have to use the same prototype, no change. So it will return integer. All right, so now we will try with this scenario. Here you need to implement as a member function. So you have to add the scope of this class. So this is the scope here. All right, so I'll execute. I'm expecting the same output. Oh, sorry, we have class distance. Let's use a member here. Trunk here, invalid use of incomplete class at distance. Okay, this is a class here at distance. Okay, this implementation comes after. Add 5 was not declared in this scope. So now we have sorry, I need to change here some changes here. So I'm using this class at distance. So I have another object. So this is add distance object. So add object. So now I'm calling get distance here. So add5 now is different. So I need to access through this object. So this is add5. All right, add5. So I will execute. Still we have one error. Class at distance use incomplete. Okay, add5 here. So this is our function here. Forward declaration. Okay, we have a forward declaration of this class. All right, I just try to trace the errors. I will deactivate this line.
Look at
Yes.
line 6.
Sorry.
Line 6.
Line 6, yeah. Class at distance forward. Yeah, what's wrong with this definition? This is correct. At distance, you just forward declaration make here. So now I deactivate the friend. I need to figure out enter distance is private. Okay, so I'm access this member from here. Okay, this one I need to deactivate. All right, so all right, now I'll try to figure out what's the error. I'm access this from, so I'll activate this one first. So, so invalid use of class distance for a declaration of class. Right, so if I move up this here, I make a declaration of this one here, just switch. Okay, all right, this is the problem. You have to switch in the declaration because this one, we have some kind of implementation here. So we switch this one first. Add distance, I have object here. So this one must come first. All right, so I'll try to update here. Okay, 0, 5. I'm just moving, nothing. It's very similar to the previous case, but now this function will be a member of another class. You have to be aware about the implementation. So this one must comes before the friend. So you are pointing to this class. So this class must be defined first. Okay. Of course, you need this. If without this, you will get error here because distance is unknown. So you see here, this is unknown. So you have to use the forward declaration here. Okay. Okay. So now we have this is the second case here. This function is a member of class. The third case, now I give access for all the functions in the class, meaning that here I will give friend for class. So this will be class add distance. Okay. So now I give permission for any function from here to access this private member. So now you see the change. Now just I will execute because I give full permission, so I can access now. Okay. Clear the three types of friends. Friend as a class, so you give permission for all functions here to access this value. So you see here, I can access this. Without this line, you will get error. So you cannot access private. This is private. You cannot update. Even you are passing object, you cannot access. You need permission. So this is friend here. Okay. Clear this point. We have three scenarios. Okay, so I'll finish with this point here. When you pass by value, so assuming that I'm passing by value here. So where is the prototype? Yeah, this is the prototype here. So now I will be passing by value. Okay, 0, 0 will get. Clear? Why we get 0, 0? Because we are passing a copy, not the address of the object. Okay, this point, when you pass by address, pass by value, pass as pointer. You remember this concept? Okay, any question right now? I'm sorry, I cannot continue. Hopefully, I will try to finish next lecture. I will be better, inshallah. So if you don't have any question, I'll share with you the attendance. That's all for me if you don't have any question. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So just a minute. Okay, guys, see you next class. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.